Hey friends, I know it's late. Surprise! Okay, if you're out there and it's Sunday night and you don't have anything else to do, join me for this live session. We're going to talk about the money, guys. We're going to talk about money because I have some good news to share with you in this session about the stimulus bill, the second stimulus check. So, friends, as you join me tonight live for the next few minutes as we go through an update about the stimulus check, just give me some likes and just let me know that you're watching. Just give a little comment. Okay, I see some people are on. It's good to see you. Friends, for those of you who are new to me, I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, immigration lawyer. Hi, Dixon, nice to see you. Linda, it's nice to see you. Okay, this is just coming in really fast as usual. So let's see. Chai, nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. Stephanie, hi, nice to see you. Sam Burr says, where is the money? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the money. So I'm going to have fun with this one. Guys, share this video on WhatsApp or wherever you usually share your videos with your friends and family, and just spread the good word. This is about the second stimulus check. Okay, as you guys know, I've been covering stimulus news, and so I like to come before you when I have something real to say. Other times it's quiet because there really isn't much of an update to provide you with. And so tonight I sat down and I put together a little presentation that summarizes for you where things are right now. And so that's what I'm going to take you guys through. So go ahead, continue to chime in and continue to tell me where you're watching from. I see folks are watching from right here in New York City. And then I see, let's see, who else is on? Okay, I see that Mohammed. Thanks for watching, Mohammed. I think India is in the house as well, and some other far away places. Guys, thanks for joining. Let's get into it. Now, this is about the second stimulus check. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to take you through a presentation which basically provides an update on where things are with this. Okay, we've been talking, we know that the first stimulus check under that first stimulus bill was sent out a few months ago. It was just one check, right, of $1,200, if you even got the $1,200. Some people got far less than that, right? And so for the past couple of months, Congress and certainly the White House have been talking about a second stimulus check, and but no one has seen it yet, right? Because there's just been a lot of chatter about that. So what are we going to cover in this presentation tonight? Well, firstly, we're going to talk about the unemployment benefits. Is it going to be extended? Is there going to be an extension? That's the first issue, because that's going to expire at the end of this month. And so for those of you who are receiving this extra $600 a week, which is a lot of money, you're probably sweating it and thinking about whether this is going to dry up, is it going to run out or not. So we're going to cover that tonight. The second issue that we're going to talk about is the next stimulus bill. How big is it going to be? Because it will definitely impact you in terms of how much you get and all of that. So how large is it going to be? Third issue is with the next stimulus check, who is actually going to get it? And then fourthly, we're going to talk about the timeline. When will you get the money if you're eligible, if you're eligible for it? Okay, so let's look at the first question, right? First question is, will that $600 a week unemployment benefits be extended? Okay, is it going to be extended? People have begun to really rely on it. You know, one thing about receiving benefits is that it's hard to let go of, right? And especially when you're going through a really difficult time, and it's part of your lifestyle, your routine, you're using it to pay your bills and to do other things, and you are looking forward to continuing to receive that benefit or that paycheck, whether it's a job or otherwise, you're looking forward to it. And so with this one now, friends, let's see where things are at with this. Okay, so Mitch McConnell says, firstly, it was a mistake. we should never have given it to people to begin with, because it's hard now to just cut it off and let it vanish and go away. So he is saying, actually, this idea was a mistake. The Democrats are saying, well, we want to extend it, right? We want to extend it because people are still having a hard time. Even though the unemployment rate seems to be doing better, right? It's the June unemployment numbers. The unemployment rate for June is 11.1%. And so that's a drop. And so the Dems are saying, despite the fact that unemployment seemed to have gone down, a lot of people are still out of work, and people are still filing for unemployment benefits. So we need to keep this around a little bit longer. And the White House now is saying, no, we don't really want to keep this extension, this $600 boost. We don't want to do that. The $600 unemployment benefits, we don't want to keep that going, because people are actually making more money on unemployment versus when they were actually working. And so when I say we, I'm speaking about the White House here and their perspective. The White House is saying, let's talk about capping it, maybe cap it to 100% of what the person earned before unemployment. And also, let's think about creating some sort of incentive to return to work. And you've heard me talk about this before. So this is still their position. They really want to create some sort of incentive to woo people back to work, rather than continuing them on this extra unemployment benefit that they're receiving from the federal government. Okay, what else is going on? Second question. Well, how big will the next stimulus bill be? Now, we've talked a lot about the House Democratic proposal, the HEROES Act. Remember that one? That was $3 trillion. And that was not well received. Mitch McConnell is now talking about, well, if we're going to do something, let's keep it at $1 trillion. White House is also saying, yeah, we like the idea of $1 trillion, but guess what? This is very risky for us to even agree to $1 trillion, because if it's too small, it will fail. And the last thing we want to see is another failure during this national emergency, right? So the White House is playing this little dancing game here, saying, well, $1 trillion or maybe $2 trillion. So ultimately, it looks like they may just come together someplace in the middle as usual, right? And maybe do it $2 trillion. We don't know. But this is where things stand right now with respect to how large it's going to be. And then the other risky thing for the White House to consider is the fact that, things are really serious right now, right? We're talking about, how do we prepare schools to reopen and all of the equipment that these schools are going to need to reopen? And so if the bill is too small, will it be able to provide the states with what they need to help the schools to reopen and take care of all their other budget issues? And it's too risky to have a package that's too small, because it may fail and it won't look so great during an election season. Okay, so White House perspective. Okay, now let's get to the third question, right? The third question, which I think most of you are more interested in. This next stimulus check, who will actually get it? And guys, by the way, I've recycled some of my images here from previous presentations, because I was like, I don't have time to go find new images for this presentation tonight. So some of these slides may look very familiar to you. Oh, hold on one second. Let me get that off the screen here. Much better. Okay, so the next stimulus check, who will get it? Okay, so from the House Democrats' perspective, right, under the HEROES Act, just to refresh your memory, they were talking about $1,200 per individual for those who earned up to $75,000 per year, or $150,000 per year for married couples, or some families with children could actually receive $6,000. Okay, and so this is a one-time check, another one-time check. It's not one of those monthly checks that some others have been talking about. So that's what the House Democrats are talking about. Now, Mitch McConnell, he's talking about something different. Okay, they're actually looking to narrow the focus of who would actually get this check. And from Mitch McConnell, and when, for those of you who may not realize what I'm saying here, when I say Mitch McConnell, right, he's the Senate Majority Leader, Republican Party, right, Republican leader. And so that's who I'm just referring to here as Mitch. So Mitch says that he wants this next stimulus check to go only to those who earned less than $40,000 in 2019, not that $75,000, adjusted gross income, right? That maybe the Dems are talking about. No, he's talking about those who earned less money. Okay, and so specifically, he's speaking about targeting those who have been the most impacted by coronavirus, specifically those in the hospitality industry, like hotel, and those who are who work in restaurants and such. So they're trying to figure out a way to get the money, or to tailor this in such a way that the money would only go to those who have been hit the hardest. And guys, that is an incredibly difficult thing for the government to do. It's so much easier for them to just do a blanket thing and send it out to a lot of people without having to figure out who really meets these criteria. So they recognize that this approach is really difficult. And if they continue along these lines, it's going to slow down negotiations big time. Okay. And they don't really want to slow things down because it's an election year. And I'm going to get back to that point shortly. Okay. So other Republicans are saying they're against another check. They just don't want it. But then you have some other Republicans who are saying, yes, we do want another check because our constituents are hurting. But again, we really want it to be narrowly targeted to those who are in need. So in answer to this question, well, who's going to get the second stimulus check? As you can see, they're still negotiating it, right? It's the Senate Republicans have their position with respect to 40,000, those earning $40,000 who earned $40,000 in 2019 versus the House Democrats who are saying, well, for those who earn 75,000 or 150,000 as a married couple, those are the individuals who would be eligible for the second stimulus check. We will ultimately see what they decide once negotiations conclude. Now, what is the White House's position on this? Of course, President Trump is saying yes, yes, yes to another stimulus check. But in terms of the details and the nuances and all of that, they're still kind of on the fence, right? On the fence as it relates to whether they're going to go with this whole 40,000 cap issue or another number. Okay. And this is the big piece that I really want to drive home here. The fact that this is a political issue, we are in an election season, guys, and they don't want to narrowly tailor this stimulus check to folks who will feel left. They don't want anyone to be left out, particularly the middle class, not during an election season. So they're trying to figure out, well, how do we narrowly tailor this in such a way that we don't really leave them out, right? Because it's very well possible for them to make mistakes. Because what if the person made more than, let's say someone made more than 40,000 last year, but they lost their job this year due to coronavirus, and they're really going through a hard time now, and they're really suffering, and they're voters. Are they going to get a check? Right? Those are some of the questions that they're grappling with, because again, this is a political issue. And I've already talked with you about the administrative hurdles with trying to target people at this 40,000 cap. It's very difficult to do. And so they are having these political discussions, and I'm almost certain President Trump's position is like, listen, we've got to get checks into their hands because I want them to feel warm and fuzzy on the inside about me, okay, as they walk into November. And that, I think, is the bottom line position from the White House, although obviously they're not saying that explicitly. But we've got to have our eyes open here and know that election season, and he wants to get checks in the hands of voters. And So with that being said, there is a very, very strong likelihood that there will be another check. They all pretty much agree that they're going to get money into people's hands over the next several weeks. Now, that's a good segue into this next issue of the timeline. When? Because you guys want to plan, right? You want to think, okay, am I going to get this check in August, September? I want to plan. You need the money. People need the money. So when will I get it? So this timeline, I want to say this timeline is based on what they're saying, what the legislators and policymakers are saying. So what Mitch McConnell is saying is he'd like to see this get voted on and passed before August. And so there's a possible vote that will happen at the end of July, at the end of this month. And if it's passed by the end of July, President will likely sign it at the beginning of August, and then it's going to take another few weeks for the IRS to then send it out to people. IRS is looking at it may be by the end of August for physical checks, but for those who are going to get a direct deposit, they could see their check arrive at their a bank account sooner than that. And the White House is actually saying that they prefer direct deposit. They're really pushing to have more direct deposits this time around. Simply because it's faster. Okay, guys. So this is the major. This is the update that I want to share with you guys tonight. Let me jump back on here. So yeah, guys, great news that, stimulus negotiations are happening. The leaders are taking it seriously. They want to get money in the hands of people. From the president's side, obviously, he wants to get money in the hands of voters. And so it looks like they're gonna make it happen. And everything right now really depends on their schedule with respect to recess and all of that. Now, just so you know, the reason why they're pushing to have a vote by the end of this month in July is because the House is going on recess on August 3rd. From August 3rd until September 8th, right? The day after Labor Day, right? And then the Senate is also going on recess from August 10th until September 10th. And so they want to make this happen before they go on recess. And the only opportunity to make this happen before recess is the end of this month, because there's 2 weeks in July, at the last 2 weeks of July, on the House calendar that's available for voting and all of that. So they're looking at the last 2 weeks of July. So during that time, I will try my best to get more timely updates before you, so you guys know where they're at with their negotiations during the last 2 weeks of July. So just to recap, second stimulus check discussion is going on, and it's looking really good. And we don't know if they're going to cap it at $40,000 per year. Those who are earning $40,000, who earned $40,000 in 2019, or whether they're going to just take the easy approach like what they did the first time and make it a little higher than that. And ultimately, I think, to be honest with you, it sounds to me like this is going to, at the end of the day, it's going to look very similar to the HEROES Act. Now, it may not be the $3 trillion that Nancy Pelosi put on the table, but it's going to be somewhere up there. It's going to be up there, and it's going to be another one-time check. The unemployment benefits, that's the part that's really up in the air. I don't know where it's really ultimately going to go, what they're going to ultimately decide. It's hard to take that money away from people, especially during an election year. Guys, if you could just imagine with me for a moment, if you can just visualize, a political discussion, a meeting happening. These are the things they're talking about. They're really concerned about whether or not these potential voters will feel satisfied and good about their government in November. And so they're acting swiftly because they want to make sure that they get reelected. So with that being said, friends, thanks so much for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not yet subscribed, so that you can get more timely updates about what's going on with the stimulus debates and such. You guys, there's a lot of you watching. Thank you so much for chiming in. Brittany, I see your comment. Thank you. Thank you for liking my hair and for the information. Awesome. Chantel, and thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Yeah, so when I learn more information, I'm seeing questions pop up here about like essential workers. I don't know where they stand with that yet. So I'm still, once I learn more about that, if it becomes more a bigger, I know that it's definitely part of the HEROES Act. So go back and watch one of my older videos about the HEROES Act to learn more about the proposal in there around the essential workers. But it's not on my radar with respect to where they're at right now, big picture. So let's see. Thank you so much, Abel. You're watching from California. Okay, so friends, first time, Alfred, this is your first time. Welcome. Nice to have you here with the community. Okay, so it is bedtime. It's bedtime where I'm at, guys. So I'm going to head off to bed. Thanks so much for watching. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.